Welcome guys to a brand new video today. Please like, please subscribe, and let's get right into the video, guys. Today we're going to be talking about raccoons and why you shouldn't feed them, and why you shouldn't feed even one raccoon, because it could turn into hundreds of raccoons. Well, this story today is about a woman in Washington that fed a raccoon, or about 3 raccoons, for about 38 years. And she kept feeding them and feeding them, didn't think anything of it. Until one day, it gathered all its family and friends and came to her yard. And I'm talking about over 100 raccoons here, guys. It gotten so bad that these raccoons were scratching on her home every single night, scratching on a window every single night, and all day as well, to the point where she had to call 911. Her neighbors were also complaining about the raccoons too, because her neighbors' dogs got into some scuffles with the raccoons, and it didn't end too well for the dogs, because the raccoons are actually very aggressive. Well, the lady didn't have a problem with feeding the raccoons at first because they were very friendly, but these new raccoons now that they brought with them after 38 years, which is kind of weird because she was feeding only 3 of them until, she said 38 years anyway. And then all of a sudden it brought its whole family and friends. Those raccoons were actually tamed. But all of a sudden it just showed up with a whole bunch of raccoons. And they made a big mess of her yard. And you know what, to be honest with you, I don't know about feeding wild animals, because usually it doesn't turn out good. They go about their business and come right back. And usually stuff like this could happen. As you can see, it's going to cost the lady a lot of money, because they said if they want to use animal patrol or something like that, they could relocate them, but for a price. And the price is $500 per raccoon. So guys, you got to figure that. $500 times 100. So there's your price right there, guys. And I don't know about that, because that's going to be really expensive, to be honest with you. I don't know about relocating these animals, or she just keep them in the backyard at this point, because that's going to cost her an arm and a leg. Well, her neighbors are now complaining because their dogs are also getting in a scuff with these animals, and some of them are aggressive to the point where she no longer enjoys feeding them. She has to throw food at them and run away. So when they get thrown food at them, she tosses food, they go for the food. And then she quickly gets in her car and takes off. So she had to call 911, and they came out. They couldn't do much. But they advised basically just, maybe stop feeding these animals. Maybe they'll go away, I don't know. But these animals here, raccoons, they could cause a lot of havoc and disease apparently, and all kinds of stuff, according to the article I read. And these raccoons have become a big problem, even though they're super cute. They're super cute and adorable, but I guess the lady here is she bit off more than she could chew, and it's become like a all-you-could-eat buffet for them. So they just showed up and turned up, and they're like, yes, free food. Don't have to hunt for it. Don't have to be going around looking for it. Just here you go. This woman's feeding me, and every single day. So what's the point of going to look for anything when here you go? You have free food. And I always thought that maybe that this is never a good idea to do. I always tell people that maybe you shouldn't feed the wild animals. And that's the reason why there's signs up in parks and all kinds of stuff. Don't feed the wild animals, because, it brings a problem. And they start, like, coming in groups like they do here. But what's kind of funny about this is that she did it for 38 years, if she's correct, if she's telling the truth. And all of a sudden, after the 38th year, they bring their whole family, and friends, which is kind of really weird. I don't know, maybe one raccoon followed them, and then the other raccoon went back and told a whole bunch of his family members, and they said, hey, these raccoons are getting fed, and they're not telling us how. So they gathered all their family members and just went over there for the ride and just said, hey, we're going to get fed too. Maybe that's why they're aggressive, because they know that they're getting fed, and they basically entitled to it. So now these raccoons are literally harassing this lady at this point, and man, that is a hefty price, guys. $500 per raccoon to get them removed. That's a lot of money, man. To get rid of this problem. And all they're going to do is relocate them. to be honest with you, if I was a lady, I'll just stop feeding them. Maybe they'll go away, hopefully. You know, apart from that, I mean, if she just ignores them, I don't know if they will attack her still, but they've become aggressive at this point, and I don't know, guys. This might be a problem for her. But I have a video to watch, and it explains a little bit more in detail about these raccoons, about this raccoon situation. So let's watch the video. Alright guys, so here's a video.
Usually when sheriff's deputies get called to a home invasion to find some masked bandits, they're not already wearing prison stripes. A Poulsbo woman,
she felt that the raccoons were threatening,
called 911 after her home was surrounded by raccoons.
This is something you don't see every day.
35 years ago, you first started feeding some raccoons, and then when all of a sudden did it explode like this?
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago.
She told deputies she'd been leaving food out for the raccoons since the 1980s. Among the raccoon population here in Poulsbo, word got out about the midnight all-you-can-eat buffet. By October 3rd, nearly 100 of them had invaded the woman's property, deputies tell us, swarming around her home night and day.
They were shocked. They had never seen that many raccoons in one place.
Even neighbors like Wendy Kronk,
I'd say it's been about the last month or so I've noticed it.
are also seeing an uptick.
I've had several raccoons in the yard recently. My dogs have gotten in a scuffle several times with raccoons. I even had to take one of my dogs to the vet after tussling with a raccoon. And I've also noticed there's been a lot more hit raccoons up on the main road here.
Trapping and relocating them will cost the woman $500 per raccoon. Deputies say she's concerned. Kronk just hopes the issue gets resolved soon.
I do hope that somebody steps in and helps her, take care of this problem, and hopefully she'll quit doing it.
In Kitsap County, Maddie White, King 5 News.
Deputies also urged against feeding wild animals because it can be both unhealthy for them and dangerous for you. The woman was referred to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife to find a solution. We reached out to them, but they did not respond.